All right, friends. Today we've got another fun Flux Dev meeting. Today's February 5th. It's Thursday on the US time zone. And I guess I can also share our little agenda doc. Does anyone have any topics that they wanted to add for today? For me, definitely interested in talking a little bit more on bug reproduction testing, something that Mateus and I were just working on. Um, Matthias and I were also discussing some stuff in Helm Controller. DT, I see you in the document. Feel free to add what you would like. Um,
Yeah, I guess today we should give Deepti a bit of time because she was here last time and didn't say anything. I bet she wanted to say something and there was no time, right, Deepti?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I just had one topic. I think I wrote
Hmm.
it, but like, yeah, no worries. Last week I didn't have much. I was just mostly listening in.
Presumably, we could also talk about Renato's PR uh,
Yeah.
for Source Watcher. Thank you for putting that in.
Yeah, we do need to talk about that one since it's the last thing open in the roadmap for 2.8.
I guess notably, I don't see any notes from last week, but we also did cosine support for V3. There's actually more test cases, but um, I forgot the PR number for this. It was source controller PR. Probably uh, something closed for this one. Yeah. Hmm. Source watcher. Yeah. Right. And then DT, you wanted to chat a little bit about this PR. It's pretty good agenda to start with. Um, Also, I guess would be good to know if anyone's KubeCon attendance schedules and booth staffing. Eh, no, I don't need help writing. Cool. What have we got here? Should definitely open this issue 696 on package. Mm, we want to make it so that things can contribute to the vertical pod autoscaler while you are able to still like initialize some of the fields. And so there's this JSON diff ignore rules that um he wants to add. And what did you want to talk about on this one?
Yeah, so I was just checking on like things to contribute for Flux 2.9, and I think he mentioned that this is on the roadmap. So I just did a little bit of reading in terms of the scope of this issue, and I just
Hmm.
wanted to kind of clarify my understanding so far. I can summarize, and if we don't have enough context, I can check with Stefan offline as well since he's not here.
Sure.
Uh, so based on my reading, I understood that Helm controller already has support for this in terms of the JSON diff ignore rules, which was added in the SSA package, and this currently exists. But Helm controller doesn't use the SSA apply route like customized controller does. So that's the portion that is missing. And that's what we want to kind of enhance over here, mostly from a customized controller perspective. which is when there are fields that are mutated by controllers, if there are things that are mutated by webhooks. Currently, there is drift and there is repeated back and forth with customized controller in terms of ownership of those fields. So the goal is to kind of add these ignore rules at the package SSA layer so that customized controller and any other consumers of SSA can
Mm.
manage these mutated fields without avoiding the back and forth. So I think today in the ignore rules, the selector and JSON pointers to specify the ignore already exist and is used by Helm controller. But what is missing is to strip those fields out when we apply the object before constructing the SSA patch. The way I understood the scope of the changes would be to extend the JSON diff package to have these additional methods, kind of extending from just the ignore rules to also strip those fields out, construct the object, and then use that in the SSA apply. And then again, extend the customization API schema to specify these drift detection ignore rules similar to how Helm controller has today, where we could specify a selector and the paths that we want to ignore in terms of JSON pointers. And yeah, kind of plumb that through from customization controller all the way to package SSA changes and pack. So this is like pretty early. I just spoke to him like a couple of days ago, and it's not targeted for 2.8, it's for 2.9. So just wanted to kind of talk about the scope. And if any of you have any thoughts around it already, then yeah, let me know.
The only thing that comes to mind is like on the last part of that bit of the implementation. There are these apply behavior annotations, and it wasn't clear to me. Maybe you chatted with Stefan, he wanted these JSON pointers to be part of customization spec, versus just including maybe an annotation to configure what to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I think this should be a field level feature, right? Like we want to be able to customize behavior for specific fields, and I guess
It's a pretty big API decision whether or not to point customized controller to these things within the customized spec or if it's in the resources.
yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
I know the use case for this feature, but I really don't know how the API would look like, or honestly how the implementation details.
mhm. Yeah, I was just going by that same issue that I linked. So I think everything that's described there, that was what was shared with me as well. But I think if we go down, no,
That,
I think not this one. The 696 package. I think we are in the wrong issue. Uh,
yeah, I am in the wrong one. Um,
yeah. So I think the example here kind of talks
Yeah,
about how we would.
exactly.
So I think some of these, the new selector and the match unstructured already exist, but I think the generate, remove, patch, apply a patch to unstructured, these APIs probably need to be implemented and kind of extended within the SSA package. And then the only controller that comes and uses this is customized controller today, right? So that's why I kind of but I will take a look at the annotation you shared. Uh, could you share a little bit more about that? Like, is it something we apply on the customized spec today, and does that already provide some sort of functionality similar to that? What is the um, I'm not super familiar with these annotations. Could you just give me a two-liner possibly?
yeah,
Which
no,
we
this is a great topic to talk about. It's a pretty like under like not the feature's not very well known, but yeah,
Mm.
like you can annotate
Yeah,
resources, and it will change the SSA behavior,
behavior.
of how customized controller treats those resources.
I see.
Um, so you can also even like disable pruning on an individual resource, which is pretty unique too,
Mm.
right? So like prune can be enabled on an entire customization, Flux customization. But then, for a very specific secret or something that would never make sense to delete, you can disable prune on that one thing. Uh,
Hmm.
I guess you can enable it too. I don't know actually what happens if you enable prune on something, but it's disabled on the customization. Um,
Yeah. It
there's
sounds
probably
like this
tests.
provides like high level of capabilities, and we are looking for a little more fine-grained kind of control where we can specify things even within the spec that we want to kind of, not let like SSA look at it all, like completely give up ownership of. Uh,
Well, yeah, I think something that's really important to call out here with this existing part of the SSA behavior is that these annotations are on the resources themselves. And then customized controller through its use of package and our SSA logic is parsing those resources to decide like what to do with them, and then changing the SSA options in how it speaks to API server or how Flux manages lifecycle in the inventory
mm,
um, for the customization status. And that is a really interesting interaction because it's the content of the resource, right? Like that is creating a behavioral change. And this is that same kind of change, right? Like, do we provide a way for people to annotate ignored paths on the resource itself? Or do you add a list to the customization spec? And then the customization needs to find like do you check? Like
mm,
if I specify ignored paths for a deployment that doesn't exist inside of my my desired state, like what happens there? If it's
yeah,
in the resources as an annotation, it's impossible, right? Like the resource is either included in the customized build or it's not. But if you provide like some sort of JSON pointer system with like a group version, kind name namespace, sort of like target selector, like similar to our patches, then like it's a totally different feel of an API there. Like you could say, oh, I'm gonna ignore every vertical pod autoscaler. Um,
mhm,
and that could be a useful, description. You could maybe use some of the types from KYAML and from Customize on that in order to get like a similar matching API. But uh, this is a I think a big thing to think about.
yeah.
I'm just going to leave a comment already on this issue here. Um, we're touching on this in the um, studying. Where should we allow people to define these ignored
Rules.
paths? Currently, we can control some SSA behavior and inventory life cycle uh, via annotations that come from the resource definitions. Cells. Um, this is nice because there can be no mismatch from selecting the resource in kind.
And when you say resource, this is today, it is like if it was a deployment resource, then it would be the deployment, not the
Yeah, Kubernetes.
customization spec. Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. Um,
And mhm.
Another option is to provide some sort of like resource selector API similar to customized patches.
Yeah, this
Uh,
is what I understood when I was going through that we would have in the customization spec some sort of a selector, which would be something like um, a path and something like kind deployment name dot star or like a subset of deployments, whatever we are targeting in the target path of the ignore. And then in the
hmm,
paths, we would have a specific JSON pointer within that selector, which path do we want to ignore. That was
hmm.
the sense I got. But yeah, I definitely need confirmation.
Should we warn if notepads actually match or not? Yeah. I guess like you would need to like actually execute the path and look it up and then modify the SSA field managers
Yeah.
if you were to do it this way. So like,
Yeah.
but like it maybe enables a single place where you can select all DPA resources within a large customization without having to, I don't know. It's like at the same time you could actually just patch the annotation, right? Like you could use a customized patch to like add the annotation. So like we already if we support the annotation, like we already have a way, on the customization to like put it on every VPA.
But with the annotation, what level of control do we get? Like, does it ignore everything in the whole resource, or is it possible to even
No, you would
specify
want
like within the
annotation
resource
to be
only
able to
search? That's what.
specify the individual ignore paths as like a list. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So today it ignores today the annotation just ignores the whole like the I think you said it's like the behavior, right? Whether it's merge or it is what kind of logic would
Mhm.
SSA kind of apply in?
Yeah, and it also would be unclear to me whether or not you would include the ignore path on the left hand or the right hand side of the annotation value.
Mhm.
Um, because like if the annotation value is a list, um, versus if it's like the on the left hand side, then if the path is there, then the annotations are just keys and you could just
Mhm.
like enumerate them. But it's a pretty
Yeah,
weird place to put lots of information. At the same
yeah.
time, that's exactly what annotations are for, is to like be able to staple like a blob for something to extend the behavior of a particular resource. And in this case, what we're trying to do is like tell Flux like how to modify the lifecycle of a particular Kubernetes resource.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I think the other thing was kind of just parity or like functional similarity with like Helm release API structure today, right? So today, I think on the Helm release and the way Helm controller, and I have to go back and read, I think the how it is doing it, but just from a spec level, I think on the Helm release today, we have the drift detection mode enabled, disabled, and then ignore, and then similar logic where we have paths and a target, which specifies like a kind deployment. So this it is at a Helm release level. So that's why I thought following a similar analogy, it would be at the customization level. Um, but yeah, this is a good point regarding the annotation, something to consider for sure in terms of uh, what approach would be better.
yeah. I don't know how coherent this annotations. We also have to decide on the how the paths are represented. It can either be a single key where the right hand side well, is managed as a single JSON YAML list. Um, or the inside key can be made to represent the ignore paths, which would make them mergeable. Uh, How do you even spell mergeable? Is that even a word? I'm struggling this morning, friends.
Merge worthy.
Yeah, yeah, with an E. Cool. Sounds good. All right. There's some
Cool.
notes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, sounds good.
yeah, my initial intuition on this is that an annotation is probably a decent place for this kind of stuff because this point right here, if you support annotations on the resource, then you already have a place in both a customized patch in the customization YAML for like customized stuff or in a Flux customization because you
Hmm.
can specify patches there as well. And there you could select whatever you want and patch into whatever you want just by controlling those annotations. But then if you really want to have no errors, or if somebody has like a platform as a service type API where they don't control the customization spec, but they can provide a list of resources, then they can still control the SSA behavior. Um, yeah, it's like the most flexible thing. And we already have something in package that parses that to support
Hmm.
this feature, which I did link, I think. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Just
Thank you so
great
much.
discussion topic. Thank you for bringing this up. this would be like a really huge feature. It's very, very important. Um, uh, we had a long discussion. See comments on the issue. Okay. Um, great. Anything else on that, Deepti?
No, that was all. I think I'll continue to like explore a little more and then probably have something by next meeting.
Yeah. I would recommend looking at how the annotations are implemented, and I think that that will make the code path pretty clear. Um, and then sync with Stefan on if he wants anything added to customization spec as well.
Thank you.
Um, Renato, did you want to talk about your Source Watcher PR at this point?
Yeah. Um, I noticed, Mateus, you commented on it and give me some insight. So thank you for that. I was struggling a little bit to understand uh, how that worked. So I just wanted to get it open to see if I was on the right track. But basically, right now, what I need to do from your comment and the talk we had a couple of weeks ago is just group the events, right? So remove the events that are being generated now and only send in key locations, right?
Yeah, like uh I don't know if we should like remove the ones we have right now because they're released, right? And they go to Kubernetes events. So maybe add the notification controller ones on top of that. The event recorder will send to both Kubernetes and notification controller.
Okay.
So for the places that need a notification controller event, you can use the new recorder you injected, and then we like this will make us have the event that we already have today, plus the notification controller one. And for other places, just use the. So I guess we'll have to have well, in all the controllers, we only have one event recorder in the
Right.
reconciler struct, right? And so every place where we send an event is to notification controller as well. But this controller was built without notification controller integration from the beginning. And now we have more events than we would like to send to notification control. So um that's what we do in Flux Operator. We don't send like we selectively send events to only Kubernetes or to both Kubernetes and notification controller. So we have like code that is not simply using the one and only event recorder in the reconciler struct. So yeah, if we do that in Source Watcher now, then it would be similar to what we do in Flux Operator, but would be totally different from what we do in all the other Flux controllers.
Mm-hmm.
S- And now I'm not quite sure like what to do given all of that. Stefan is the one who has the strong opinion about sending events only in the right places, but it makes sense because we don't want to add spam, right? We don't want to
Right.
spam.
So potentially, here on this artifact generator reconciler, we could add a notification recorder or something like that.
Yeah, like have two event recorders and not replace the one. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I don't like, yeah, I mean, I guess this is fine. I guess
Yeah. I
having
was basically
two.
looking at the source controller implementation. The function is exactly the same, the one that creates the event recorder.
Yeah, and all the other controllers as well. Like you only see a single event recorder being passed to the reconciler struct. This would be the first controller where we would have both. But I guess that's what we need. No running away. Like if we want to keep the events we have And I also send some of them to notification controller, but not all of them.
Okay, sounds good.
Uh, but we probably I guess we should ping Stefan to see if that's exactly what he has in mind. But I think that's it.
Okay, should we just ping him on the PR itself, or
Yeah, you can ping him there directly. You should answer. You can, if you want, you can also say, "Hey, Mateus told me to ping you here in the PR."
okay?
Here, I'm just gonna add a
Yeah,
comment and do that already. Um,
nice.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thanks.
so I just said um potentially here on Artifact Generator Reconciler, we could have an additional notification event recorder. This would give us granularity within Reconcile to decide which events are intentionally desirable for notification controller versus internal controller usage for status. What do you think, Stefan? Um, okay.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, I saw this PR come in a couple hours after you'd submitted it, Renato, and I just hit accept on it for running tests. Uh, which is fine. But I think Mateus commented that if you use your other GitHub user, since you're part of the org, then
And there's another reason why I said that, which is how would I know it's really you if you use another
Right.
GitHub account?
Yeah. The thing is that I'm in my work computer and I only use like my work GitHub account, and then when I'm a personal
Right.
computer, I use the other one. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Because I can change that.
No, it's not a problem because now you joined the call and I know it's really you on the second account.
Okay.
Unless what I'm seeing here is a deep fake, which I don't think is the case. So yeah,
Not
it's
yet.
fine to use the other account.
it doesn't look to be GPG signed either, but it's fine.
I
Uh,
can I can do that if that's required. Yeah.
no, it's definitely not a requirement. It's just
Yeah.
since we were on the topic of of impersonation. Yeah. But no, I do whatever makes sense for you on contribution flow.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah,
there
now
is a
it's fine
difference.
because I know it's really you on both accounts.
Awesome.
Yeah. But
And
And
what about? Yeah. Go ahead.
I just, when this came in and it was like, oh, it's not approved for testing, I just went and I read and I was like, does this look like it's going to compromise CI or not? And it looked fine. So I said, yes.
Nice. Thank
yeah.
you.
But, whenever uh just with regards to your org membership or that kind of thing, you'll run into that snag where you won't be able to see CI results unless an org member comes in and enables your testing. But if you do end up submitting stuff from your other account, then sometimes
I
that
mean,
might.
it
Is
will be
that per
just one,
repo
right?
or per org?
It's per repo.
And
Okay.
you should be able to
Yeah.
log on to your other one, like from like your other machine, and just like go to the PR. And I think you should be able to also click that button if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think so. Like
Oh,
you
okay.
you have to be a member. Yeah.
No,
Like a
but
member.
from his other account, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't think it will be possible.
I would need
You have
elevated
to.
access.
Yeah, you would need to be a member of the project. Like I think you not
Is this
anybody
account not
can.
a project member?
It's
That
not. It's not.
that restriction, was it only for the first contribution, and after that after the first contribution gets accepted, then I think you can
Yes,
run
yes,
the
yes.
things. Yeah.
Exactly. But that is per
Oh, that's a
repo.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
per
Per
repo though.
repo. Okay.
for repo.
Yeah.
I see.
So you
So
have to submit at least two PRs in each repo to never need automatic
okay.
CI anymore.
We'll get there someday, hopefully.
Yeah. So I guess it's just like a temporary thing. But
Okay.
um
Sorry for the
did you have
trouble.
anything else that you wanted to
No
talk
worries.
about on that? I definitely want to give you this space to talk through it.
I just wanted to know about timings. Like, am I super late? How are you guys think?
So it would be good to finish 1 week before the release, and the release is scheduled for 21.
21. Okay. Oh, that's surely enough time. Just it's good to wrap my head around it. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, and feel free to just ping us incessantly. I think as we get closer to the
Yeah,
release,
yeah,
everyone's going to get really busy, but like
yeah.
just be loud about contributing and we will help.
Yeah, I mean, it's my priority to make sure this is finished anyway, so feel free to ping me anytime.
Cool.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. I think some stuff that I had to talk about, Mateus, we were just having a discussion about this bug that with the post renderer status that I was chasing down. And since Mateus has been making a bunch of changes for the Helm 4 support in Helm controller, which we'll be releasing in 2.8, he's got a lot of context. I have a little bit of a harness and a shell script that reproduces the bug essentially when you apply a post render um, and change the Helm release spec while Helm release is deploying or upgrading a chart. You can get to a state where the digest of the post renderer ends up getting recorded in the status. And then when the upgrade or the release finishes, um, we have some issue in the ordering or the way that we do this or represent this where the the digest is recorded, but then no new subsequent release with the updated desired state is performed, which results in a release in the cluster that is stale to the desired state. And from what I can tell, this only happens with post render. It doesn't happen with um, other things like values changes or values config maps and things like that, or changing, the chart version and etc. Right? That stuff's pretty well tested. I think the code smell here is that we sort of bolted on post renderer at a different time. Um, than when other things were implemented, and we did it in a way that was sort of similar to customized controller, and customized controller's lifecycle is less persnickety and sensitive than Helm controllers, and that's why this bug exists. As far as I can tell, this bug has existed for potentially a fairly long time, although we have made changes and I have not bisected when the first version um, was affected, and there have been changes to how we calculate this digest and decide when to reset it and stuff like that. So that's still more work to be done there. But um, Mateus, you were saying that there's some packages that I should be looking at for end-to-end testing here.
Yeah, the turns out that the internal slash controller, the tests there are not using, I think they're not using name test. They don't actually spin up the Helm release reconciler.
Okay.
And then that we did this for 2.7, I guess. Flux Stefan did this for shipping external artifact in Helm controller. So the tests he added for external artifact are in this new package called internal slash controller underscore test. That package has a sweet test that spins up env test.
Okay.
And I added a few more tests there. Basically, I will only add like, if it depends on me, I will only add tests there going forward because the controller tests are the ones that are supposed to be run on a real or
Yeah.
on a real env test, right? Like, so yeah, new tests should always go there, basically.
Yeah. I can see if this part of the state machine can be quickly tested with the technique that maybe Hida started with. If I maybe run a reconcile func with the mock API.
I
Uh,
mean, it may be possible, but even so, I would prefer real env tests
mm,
because they test. the API calls going through all the stuff that a real Kubernetes cluster has. So
Yeah.
fake fake client
Okay.
does not cut it.
Yeah. There might be a higher volume of tests that I can run on fake client. I'm almost interested in seeing if there's a way for me to modify the fake client test suite where I can take like a good portion of them and modify them to produce like a second release by changing the desired state over like a very large part of the API surface, because this is the kind of thing that we've never promised or tested, but really should always work. When when this bug was reported to me, I felt like existential dread. Um, like the fact that we're here like some 6 or 7 years later with Home Controller and somebody can find that Helm Controller does not reach its desired state in a surprising and an unintentional way is like the kind of bug that should not exist in Flux. Like this is a very serious category of bug. And if there's something that I can do that is fast and efficient, I agree that we need env test tests. And I think like the two that I would put in there would be the two that I have currently working with the shell script on a real cluster, where I'm testing values and then I'm testing post render, and values is working and post render is not. Um, it's like I'm seeing that eventually consistent behavior, for the config digest, but not for the post render digest, and it's a really interesting difference in SDK usage and what we chose to do here. I'm probably gonna have to add some fields to get this to behave properly. Um, which is fine because we're already adding a bunch of fields to Helm release for Flux 2.8. But uh, yeah, what do you think about if anyone has any thoughts on that? Just.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I was listening to what you were saying about the bug Lee, and then I kind of tried to locate the issue. Where is it reported? What number does it have for an issue?
There's no issue number for this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is there any
Uh,
documentation at all about it?
no, I'm happy to file an issue once I understand everything that's going wrong. Um, but yeah, uh, I I'm probably gonna write a test uh in the test suite and then open the issue and then open the PR and then from there that's when we can get it functioning. But this was just an end user report that I was made aware of like late last year, and then I never
Can
opened.
you point me to that end user report?
The end user report was a private conversation that I
Oh, I
that I
see.
yeah. And then I
Uh-huh.
logged this in my head as something to go and chase down because it sounded serious. And then that person sent me a bunch of details about their private infrastructure and their cluster. And I went and tried to reproduce some of it by modifying a bunch of their stuff and copying their Kubernetes cluster info and their Helm controller info, like their version info. Got it reproduced, realized that there was a simpler way to reproduce it, and then created a reproduction with pod info.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll
um,
ping you on Slack to discuss this further, if you'd be amenable to connect with me on Slack.
yeah, sure. You can send me a DM, but like yeah, I I'm working on it actively, and there
I just
there
want to
will
get
be.
a better understanding of what is at issue, to make sure that this is not getting into the way of what we're currently doing. But like I said, I'll ping you on Slack to
Yeah, I
discuss this
mean,
further.
if you're using post renderer and you apply post renderer while a release is going out, then there is a chance that your desired state will be stale. The workarounds currently for it are to run a force reconcile or to restart Helm controller. Both of those things will fix the stale desired state. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, if you're using post renderer, this potentially silently affects you.
Okay. Yep. That's what I was concerned about. Anyway, I contact you on Slack and provide more detail when I'm concerned, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to provide you all of the detail that I know exactly right now in a public place. Right, like this is that is the bug.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
and as I work on it, right, there will be an issue on the Helm controller repo about it, as well as tests, and then those tests will be failing, and then we'll fix them and ship it, ship the fix. But yeah, this mostly will affect you if you say we're like trying to add like a sidecar or something to some pods or a deployment in a Helm release, and you made like the deployment invalid. Like maybe there was like a container image like typo or something where the Helm release was like never going to succeed. But then you also are using a long timeout. And that long timeout means that the Helm release is just like stuck deploying for a long time. And during that long time, if you then change the post renderer to try and fix the problem that you introduced with the post renderer, then you'll be frustrated because the Helm release will eventually time out 7 minutes or 15 minutes from now. And then you'll expect Flux to do its thing, and it won't. Flux will just not perform the release.
Hmm.
Even though the desired state is that you've updated the post renderer to fix the problem, the reconcile will not run. If you find yourself in this situation, you can run a force reconcile on the Helm release, or you can restart Helm controller and it'll fix it. Um, and that's the bug. Um, but yeah, the it's I wouldn't say like an incredibly common thing that can happen, but at the scale that Flux is used at, it's definitely happening to people. And it haunts me that it's taken this long for us to find this bug. So we're gonna fix it. But
Yeah, what I'm somewhat apprehensive about is the account that I'm involved in. They're making heavy use of umbrella help charts,
yeah,
which, from my own experience, presented a lot of problems in the past working with Flux. So I was kind of curious whether this may also be something that will affect them.
it'll
But
affect
Are they
if they're using.
using ham release with spec post renders?
I would have to double check. I mean, this was kind of hitting me as a surprise when Lee brought it up, so I will have to dig into the details to see whether this is in fact affecting what we're doing. But yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, yeah. Feel free to reach out, and you can definitely reach out in the Flux users channel.
Yep. Okay.
This doesn't need to be a direct message. There's nothing private necessarily about it. It's just that I don't have
Yeah, the reason I wanted to use Slack is on that Slack channel, I could have shared with you some of the details concerning the account, and that's privileged information. But given what you just laid out, I think I have enough information to make sure that this is not affecting us. And if it does, I'll come back to you guys.
perfect. Yeah. Um, great. Um, in other news, in good news, we are going to be shipping cosine V3 support in Flux 2.8. So this is merged into source controller, and as a side effect of merging this feature, we also found some bugs in our test suite and fixed those bugs as well in the test suite. This was really a fun one. There was TLS and DNS failures in tests that were only happening when you ran the tests with the entire test suite, which is like a lovely thing to find out when you realize that your tests are interacting with code that was written many years ago that you are not working on and from features that are not related to what you're working on. Um, so if anyone wants to see some tech debt being cleaned up, you can go and check out uh, source controller 1961, and the commit log here has comments about fixing the transport of TLS configurations and other stuff. There was even a data race that needed to be fixed. So that was fun. And now uh, you don't have to set anything. There are no fields. There's like no new behavior or no new fields to enable this behavior. If you're using old versions of cosine, if you're using new versions of cosine, if you're using new versions of cosine with old cosine signatures on old images, it should all hopefully just work. And there is a test suite that covers a good amount of that behavior, but of course, there's always edge cases. So that feature should be shipping, and I think we've done it well. Um, and then who's going to KubeCon? Deepti, do you think you're gonna be in Amsterdam?
No, not this time.
Great. Okay. We will miss you. If you want us to pick you up any swag or anything and mail it over, just let us know. Um, and then yeah. Renato, are you gonna be there at all?
No,
Dimitri?
not
Okay.
only probably in North America, but in November.
Okay, in Salt Lake City.
Yeah,
Great. See you there.
thanks.
Um, cool. Well, Kingdom's not here right now, but I'll circle up with him at some point. Great. I think that's most of the agenda. We've killed 57 minutes as well, so it's really been a packed dev meeting today. Thank you everyone for contributing so much. Um, is there anything else anyone wants to chat about? I am reaching for the stop sharing button, and now I'm reaching for the stop recording button. And yeah, that'll conclude this week's